Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today is the day that we're going to be harvesting and weighing the giant pumpkin. We have a gorgeous day here today, blue skies and sunshine, so we're going to be able to get the backhoe down into the patch without making any ruts. We're actually not expecting any rain on the forecast either. September this year is going to be dry. Now we do still have Sedgwick and the ducklings down here at the pond. Sedgwick is walking around behind the boxes, doing some foraging. And the ducklings are in the shade by the beach, tucked up underneath a rock, taking a nap. All four ducklings hanging out together, and oh, the geyser! Gorgeous! How's Sedgwick? Everybody still there? You got your ducklings in a row? Good. Keep an eye on them. We have some work to do today. Pup, and we already got started. I did have to do some more weed whacking to clean up the area so we can actually get access to the pumpkin. So I'm going to throw you back so you can get all caught up with that. And then we'll get set up for the harvest. So now we have some clean pathways and access to get in here to the giant pumpkin. We're actually going to be bringing the backhoe down here, bringing it in the back gate there, straight into the patch. By my estimation, the last time we measured the pumpkin, it was sitting right around 706 pounds estimated. So we're definitely going to need the backhoe to pick this up. And we are harvesting this pumpkin now because the stem is already starting to get soft, and I want to get an actual weight on the pumpkin before it gets soft and we can't pick it up anymore. So we are not going to be taking this pumpkin to a competition. Around here you need a much bigger pumpkin to even have a chance at competition, and with the rotting stem there's really no reason to transport it. But this one is definitely a personal best, so I still want to get a true weight. So we have some access here coming in the back gate to get the backhoe close. I have to fold up that tarp, and then we're going to be able to drive right in here to the patch. We might end up crushing some part of the plant here, but that's not going to be a big deal. We are pretty much done growing for the year. We just got to get a weight on this pumpkin and get this up by the pond so we can just look at it for a little bit before it starts to go soft, and I take it up to the barn to feed the animals. We still do have a couple pumpkins over here that I'm going to take a closer look at here in the video. We have a bigger one down here on the ground, and then the other one keeps getting bigger. It's actually crushing this hemlock tree. But we'll take a closer look at them and see how they're doing after the harvest of the big one. But getting up close and personal with the pumpkin, you can see we have a pretty bad stem going on. I have the fan running here so we can try and keep it as dry as possible, but this stem is shot. I didn't actually look at it yet today, but look at that hole in here. I don't think it goes into the main cavity yet, but it is getting deeper. So we are running out of time to get this pumpkin harvested. I can actually take these off for now. Let that orange body show. She is gorgeous. I have a few things to clean up out of here and a few other things to get together before we can do the harvest. But we can leave her uncovered now and let her beauty shine here in the patch. Now I think it's going to be hard to get a good grip on this pumpkin being round, kind of oddly shaped and heavy. So we actually have a specific pumpkin strap that I borrowed off my friend from harvesting their pumpkins last year, and that's going to help us lift this pumpkin up. And once we get the strap around the pumpkin, we'll be able to lift it up with a backhoe and get it up off the ground and then move it wherever we need it. But whenever we lift it up the first time, I want the scale attached to it so we can get a true weight before we actually move the pumpkin, just in case anything happens. And then I'm thinking once we get the weight of the pumpkin, we'll set it back down, pull the scale out of the links, and then we can put the chain back on and carry the pumpkin up to the pond. So that is the plan right now. Hopefully it goes well. I don't think I have any help right now, so I'm probably going to be doing this solo, so we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. Huh, Pop? Just us. So I'm going to get everything together and then we'll get started. Open the gate, Pop. What are you doing, pup? Keeping an eye on the ducks. All right, good boy. You stay close to them. I need to grab another drink and a cushion for the pumpkin ring to sit on. You do you, pup. You birds. Oh, hanging out with Sedgwig? You are ducks. You can go in the water. Tell them, pup. Ooh, look at their white necks. They're starting to get some color on them. Gorgeous, Sedgwig. Keep it tight. Alright, we got the ring on. The strap is in place. We have this metal ring attached to some straps to go all the way around the pumpkin. And then we have a rope down here fed through all the eyelets, and that's actually the cinch rope to grab the bottom of the pumpkin. I'm hoping this isn't too big of an area here. I'm going to lift it up slow and see how it looks once we get tension on it. But I think I have everything where it needs to be. Every time I hit this with my fingernail though, it scratches. This is a very soft skin. You can just pop right through it. It's softer than a tomato right now. The sun is really what dries and hardens the skin, so with me covering it up and having the umbrella over it, she really hasn't been hardening up. But the next step here is to cut her free off the vine. It is a pretty thick vine here, you can see. A little bit bigger than a baseball bat handle. But we're going to go ahead and cut her off here. But I'm going to get this cut off. We're going to bring the backhoe in so I can get the hook on the top of the ring here. We're going to start lifting it up, and I'm going to see what the rope does once we get some tension on it. And unfortunately, with the stem in the condition that it's in right now, this pumpkin is not going to last a very long time. If I want to try and get any of the seeds out of this pumpkin, I'm probably going to have to cut it open pretty soon. But I'm thinking I'll be able to cut a hole right around the stem like a jack-o'-lantern and actually reach in there and get all the seeds. And then leave the rest of the pumpkin to sit as decoration as long as it'll last. I worked hard for this pumpkin, so I want it up beside the koi pond so I can look at it for as long as possible. Huh, pup, I think it's time to let the big birds out to the pond. I'm coming, Mumbles. How you doing, Sedgwig? You got them covered? Good. You do float, ducklings. You can sit in the water. Huh, pup. putting tension on her. That strap is pretty low. We've got to keep it down at the bottom. Looks like we already have almost 400 pounds on the scale. We're not lifted off the ground yet though. Take it up, pup. Up off the ground right now. She doesn't have a lot of grip on her. We're gonna have to do this quick. Oh, we are up there. She went heavy. 728.5 pounds. Puppy, stay away from the pumpkin. 728.5 pounds. She's holding. Puppy, we did it. It's over 7. And she is off and swinging right now. Looking good. All right, we're gonna set her down so we can take the scale off and then move her up to the pond. buddy. See if we can just swing her. Oh yeah. I'm gonna lift it up onto the pallet, just swing it in place. What do you think, pup? Isn't she beautiful? She looks so much bigger than the one we had there before, because she is. Now the last pumpkin that we had on the edge of the pond here was 208. Oh, mumbles. Feeling flappy today. Had to dry off from getting out of the pond. Huh, pup? The last pumpkin we had sitting on the edge of the pond was 208.6 pounds, and this one sitting here is 710 pounds. Now you saw the scale said 728.5 pounds, but that's because the ring that we had all the straps attached to weighed 18.5 pounds. So altogether, the pumpkin itself weighed 710 pounds. Just slightly bigger than the estimated measurement we had on her. She was 706 pounds on the tape, but we couldn't really do fractions with that calculator, so I think the estimate was pretty much on. Now it is hard to tell the actual size of this pumpkin without anything sitting next to it. That's why it helps to have the other smaller pumpkins that we still have down in the patch. But they are calling for some nice weather here in September, so I'm going to leave those pumpkins on the vine and see how big they get. And hopefully this one will last long enough we can get the other one set next to it. Oh, fishy fishies. How you doing down there? You guys want something to eat too? I can fix that. I think some of the ducks are hungry as well. I hear them quacking. And the goats. Alright, I'll get everybody something to eat. But look at this pumpkin. We got her up here without any disaster too. That strap held beautifully. Huh, pup, with the assist from you. Gorgeous. think the machine scared the ducklings. They all went back into their crate. Sedgwick is right next to him, keeping an eye. But this pumpkin looks gorgeous right here. We have some bite marks here on the side. Some battle scars facing off Peter Cottontail. I think those are only surface deep. The big issue came from the stem. We ended up getting a rotty stem here, and I don't know if it went all the way into the main cavity, but there is a pretty good hole there. Alright, we'll have a stick laying here. I'll go ahead and shove this in. You usually would use something smaller like a zip tie, but if this goes in, anything's going in. Okay, doesn't go in too far. Just right there. Surface level. The whole stem is just rotted out, but it's pretty solid. Good. I don't think it's in the main cavity. I think we'll be able to have a little bit of time with it sitting next to the pond where we can look at it and enjoy the big pumpkin that it is. And then we can harvest the seeds out and send the rest of it up to the barn for animal feed. Ah, she is just gorgeous here by the pond. Oh, the geyser. Even better. What a combination. We have this giant pumpkin that, if you can't tell, it's up here waist high. It is sitting on a board here. I actually have a pallet there, but it is waist high. It's a huge pumpkin. Like I said, it's the biggest pumpkin I've ever grown. And if you're wondering, out of my other two friends that grew giant pumpkins this year, we have one that has one on the vine. It's just getting started. I think he said it was 70 pounds this morning. He's having a rough go at it this year. He's pretty far behind, but my other friend grew another big pumpkin, and I'm pretty sure it's at least 100 pounds bigger than mine. And he has not harvested his pumpkin yet, so I'll definitely get a number to you whenever that does happen. But in the lead right now in my friend group, we have a 710 pound pumpkin. Ducks, where are you going? Time to go to the pond? Go for a swim? Where's your friend? Is he coming too? You gotta let Mama Sedgwick know you're going to the pond. Ducklings. Getting some colors on you. A little bit of white necks. Go ahead down. Black legs, orange feet, white necks and gray body. Black beak. Get a drink with your friends, bud. Go float for a little bit. This pumpkin isn't gonna bite you. Good. Hump pop. Now as for the other two pumpkins in the patch, we still have two pumpkins down here we can keep an eye on in the patch and see how big they get this season. And I already got some of the tomatoes in here, but some of the animals got to them too. But the patch is feeling empty now with the pumpkin gone. But fortunately, we have a couple other pumpkins here we can still keep an eye on, and this one is getting bigger. It's kind of crushing. Oh no, we have a rotten spot. It didn't make it, guys. Look at that. Not doing well. That one's gonna have to go to the animals here soon. Might try and split that one up with the birds. Ooh, it just fell out of there. I just clicked the camera off and then it just fell out of the tree. It's down here now. Ugh. Come here, pumpkin. Go ahead and get you off the vine. Don't have to be too gentle with it. Ooh, that thing has some weight though. Oh. There we go. This thing does have some weight to her. But it got a rotten bottom. She's not going to be growing anymore. Probably didn't have enough fertilizer to grow all these pumpkins and the big one. I'd say that's around 30 pounds at least. And this one over here is definitely bigger. Hopefully it doesn't have a rotten spot. I'd like to at least have this one for decoration for a little while. I might have to just harvest these anyway. The plant is not doing too well, so I don't think it's going to have a lot of energy to make this one bigger. And it's definitely in danger down here with Peter Cottontail. So I'm thinking we're just going to go ahead and harvest this one. Oh yeah, the skin is super soft. I don't know what's going on the bottom. I hardly have any pumpkin leaves left. We just have a little bit here right around this pumpkin going up into the tree. Barely any plant left, pup. Alright, I guess we're going to harvest this one today too. Just completely clear the patch out. I'll cut this one off because I don't know if this one's rotten yet. There we go. She's free. Oh, and she has weight to it. I don't think I can pick this one up. Puppy, I might need help for this one too. I'm definitely at least going to have to get the wagon down here or the wheelbarrow. This one definitely has some size to her. I'd put her right around probably 80 pounds. I don't think she made it to 100. Anything else in there, pup? Just a bunch of weeds about to go to seed. I think they're starting to pop open. I really need to get in here and chop this down. Look at these burrs. Those are going to be all stuck through Echo Pup's fur. Come on, Pup, we need to get the wagon. I'll put this one up by the big one and get this one to the birds. Huh, Pup? It's just gorgeous up here. Massive looking. Alright, after picking up the smaller pumpkin, I am going to have to weigh this. This might actually be close to 100 pounds. I don't know, it felt heavy. Oh, the geyser. Gorgeous. But then I went over here and I pulled on the stem and it came right off. So I decided to scrape out all the soft that was in there. And there was some soft in there, but again, we did not break into the main cavity. So I'm going to let that dry out for a little bit before I pack it with sulfur. And then hopefully we can keep this pumpkin around for a little bit longer. Pup, keeping an eye on the ducks. Good. Hey, birds. Lots of starlings around. Ducks. Pup. But I feel pretty good about getting the pumpkins out here without dropping any of them. Sedgwick, you could have lent a feather. And they are looking good. Pup. Gorgeous. Again, I don't think the camera's doing it justice. This looks like a big pumpkin. I might be a little biased though. Ducklings, how you doing? Hanging out in a little duck pile. Alright, got a nice view. Can't complain, huh? Good. Alright, Sedgwick, you found a nice spot to get a bath? Good. That's going to be all for this one. We successfully harvested the giant pumpkin out of the patch and the other pumpkin that we had on the vine. We got a new personal best here at Whitt Acres, 710 pounds for the pumpkin. I am planning on harvesting the seeds from this pumpkin, so stay tuned. I might be able to make those available. And hopefully we can go bigger next year. Subscribe down below, hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Good boy.